This video is all you need to know to make AI song covers with anyone's voice for free. We're gonna do this.
A club isn't the best place to find a lover, so the bar is where I go.
Me and my friends sat at the table doing shots, drinking fast, and then we talk slow.
And this. I'm going to show you 3 options for doing AI song covers. All of them are free and they vary in terms of ease of use and complexity and hardware requirements. You can decide for yourself which one of these you want to use based on your needs. Let's jump right in. We are going to cover 2 songs. One is Shape of You by Ed Sheeran and the other one is Idol by YOASOBI. Just so you can get a sense of how this would work with songs in 2 different styles in 2 different languages. So I've already downloaded these 2. I'll play you each one first so you can hear what it sounds like.
A club isn't the best place to find a lover, so the bar is where I go. Me and my friends sat at the table doing shots, drinking fast, and then we talk slow. And you come over and start a...
So that's Shape of You, and I specifically chose the acoustic version instead of the original version because for AI tools currently, they're not really good at separating harmony vocals from lead vocals. So wherever possible, if you can, always try to use an acoustic or unplugged version so that your vocals would be a lot cleaner. And then here's YOASOBI. Alright, so next step is we actually need to separate the vocals from the instrumentals for both of these songs. There's a few places you can do this. A good one I would recommend is Vocal Remover. So I'll paste this link in the description below. But all you gotta do is drag and drop your audio file into here. So I just dropped in Ed Sheeran's song first, and this only takes like a few minutes, but basically it's using AI to split the vocals from the instrumentals, and you can download each of them as separate files. Okay, so it's finished extracting the vocals from the instrumentals. Let's hear the instrumentals first. So we drag the music all the way to 100, we drag the vocals all the way to 0, and then we click play. Perfect. Now let's drag the music to 0 and the vocal to 100 and hear what that sounds like.
A club isn't the best place to find a lover, so the bar is where I go. Me and my friends sat at the table doing shots, drinking fast, and then we talk slow. And you come over and start up a conversation with just me, and trust me, I'll give it a chance. Now take my hand, stop, find the...
Perfect. Let's click save. And now I want to download each of the music and the vocals. So let's download the music first. Alright, so let's save the music file first, and then we will also download the vocal. Alright, so you can see for Shape of You, we have downloaded the vocals and the instrumentals. Let's do the same for Idol. So I'm going to upload Idol into here, and then same process. We just give it a few minutes for the AI to extract the vocals and the instrumentals, and then we download both the tracks. Okay, let's hear the instrumental first. Wow, it's really clean. Let's drag this to 0, and then drag the vocals all the way to 100 so we can hear only the vocals. Perfect. So to save this, same thing, we click on save, and then I'm gonna save the music first. And then I'm going to save the vocals. Alright, so you can see here, I've now separated the instrumentals and the vocals from both of these tracks. The next step is we're going to use an AI tool to convert the vocals into someone else's voice, and then glue it back into the instrumentals. But first, we need to find someone's voice to convert to. So I'm using this site called voicemodels.com, which I'll link to in the description below, but there are also plenty of other places to find AI voice models. Check out this video for all the options. I think for Ed Sheeran's Shape of You, we can make Gura sing it. So I'm gonna search Gura here. And let's go with this one. So we'll just click on this Hugging Face URL, which would prompt me to download this zip file. So let's save this. Alright, so we have finished downloading this Gura model. I'll show you where to extract the files in a second, but first let's jump right into our first AI voice conversion tool. So the tool I'm going to use is called RVC. You can see all of these voice models have been trained on RVC, and all the covers that you see on YouTube, online, they were likely done using RVC. This is basically the gold standard for AI voice conversion and AI covers. Now there are various versions of RVC, such as this Applio RVC, which you can check out this video on how to install it, and then Mangio RVC, which you can check out this video on how to install it, or the original RVC. For us, we are going to go with the Mangio one. So once you have this installed, simply click on this go web.bat file to start the interface. And then this interface should automatically pop up in your browser. Now, next step is we need to send this voice model of Gura into here. So let's open the zip file first. And then you can see it has a PTH file and the index file, which we can ignore. We only need the PTH file. So for this Mangio RVC, we just need to extract this PTH file into the weights folder. So now if I double click into this weights folder, you can see the Gura model is here. Now, once you click on this dropdown, you don't see it yet, so click on this refresh voice list, and then you would be able to see Gura. Alright, let's skip down to this one first. Here is where you paste in the path of your audio you want to convert to. This is not the full song. This is the vocals that you want to convert to. So as promised, we are going to convert Ed Sheeran's song into Gura. And actually, before we paste in the path here, it's always safe to remove any spaces or special characters in your file name. So let me just rename this to get rid of the spaces and special characters. Once you've renamed it, we'll just copy this path and then paste it in here. Alright, let's move up to this transpose setting now. Because we are converting Ed's voice into Gura, so it's male to female, we should shift this up a few semitones. So usually for male to female, setting this to 8 to 12 works best. And then for female to male, setting this to -8 to -12 would work best. Let's try 8 first and see what that sounds like. And then these are more advanced settings. If you want to learn more, check out this video where I explain more in depth about each of these settings. And then for the algorithm, we'll keep it at RMVPE, which is the highest quality. And we're pretty much good to go. Let's click convert and hear what it sounds like. Alright, let's play this.
A club isn't the best place to find the lovers, so the bar is where I go. Me and my friends sat at the table doing shots, drinking fast, and then we talk slow.
Perfect. So we just click the 3 dots and then click download. And then let's call this Shape of You Gura. So the next step is to stitch the Gura voice back with the instrumentals. I'm going to use this free tool called Audacity for that. I'll link to it in the description below. So I'm going to drag both the Gura vocals and the original music into here to stitch it together. Now if you play this right now, it might sound a bit awful.
A club isn't the best place to find the lovers, so the bar is where I go.
Alright, something sounds really off, right? And that's because we transposed the vocals by 8 semitones, but we haven't transposed the instrumentals yet by 8 semitones. So the vocals and the instrumentals are in a different key, and that's why it sounds so awful right now. So we need to select the full instrumental track, and then in Effect, we'll click on Change Pitch, and then let's set it to 8 semitones. Alright, so now if you play this, it should sound aligned with the Gura vocals.
A club isn't the best place to find the lovers, so the bar is where I go. Me and my friends sat at the table doing shots, drinking fast, and then we talk slow. And you come over and start up a conversation with just me, and trust me, I'll give it a chance. Now take my hand, stop, find the man on the jukebox, and then we start to dance. And I'm singing like, girl, you know I want your love. Your love was handmade for somebody like me, but now follow my lead.
Perfect. And to save this track, simply click on File and then Export, and then export as whatever format you want. So really quickly, let's do Idol now. For Idol, let's make SpongeBob sing it. So we are going to search SpongeBob in this Voice Models tab, and then let's go with this one. Again, you can save the zip folder wherever you want. Alrighty, now that the SpongeBob file is done, let's open the zip file. and then open this again. And then in the weights folder, you can see the PTH here. So we just need to extract this into the weights folder of our RVC folder. So let's extract this in here. And then going back to our interface, we don't see SpongeBob here yet. So we need to click refresh. And then now you should be able to see SpongeBob. Alright, so next step is let's paste in the idle track here. Again, we want to paste in the vocals only. So it would be this file. But let's get rid of the special characters, and I don't know if the Japanese characters would throw it off, so let me just rename this to English. Alright, we'll copy the path of this, and then paste it in here. And for transpose, because SpongeBob has quite a high voice, let's just leave it at 0 and see what it sounds like first. If this doesn't sound well, we can always adjust the settings to our liking. And then everything else we can keep as is. So let's click convert and hear what it sounds like. Alright.
無敵の笑顔だラスメディア知りてその秘密ミステリアス抜けてるとこさえ彼女のエリア完璧で嘘つきな君は天才的なアイドル様
Not bad, so we click download, and let's call this idle SpongeBob. And then same steps as before, we open up Audacity, and then we drag both the SpongeBob vocals and the original instrumentals into here. Now, because we set the transpose to 0, we don't actually need to adjust the instrumental track. The vocals and the instrumentals should be aligned already. So let's play this and hear what it sounds like.
無敵の笑顔だラスメディア知りてその秘密ミステリアス抜けてるとこさえ彼女のエリア完璧で嘘つきな君は天才的なアイドル様
Alright, perfect. So to download this, simply click export and then export to whatever format you want. So that's it for RVC. This would be my top recommendation because there are so many settings that you can tweak to really get the voice you want. And it's 100% free and open source, and you don't even need a GPU to run this. The only step where you need a GPU is if you want to train your own voice model. And if you want to do that, again, check out this video. Quick thanks to the sponsor of this video, EaseUS. Check out their EaseUS vocal remover, which is online and completely free to use. This is another great way for you to separate vocals and instrumentals from a song. I'm going to demonstrate using it to separate the vocals of Ed Sheeran's Shape of You. This is super easy to use, you don't need a login or anything. And there's also different types of separations that you can do. So there's vocal and instrumentals, but there's also drums, no drums, bass, no bass, piano, no piano. So a lot of separation options that you can choose from. I'm just going to drag and drop my MP3 file into here. Alright, so here's the original, so you can hear what it sounds like.
A club isn't the best place to find a lover, so the bar is where I go.
Alright, so here's the music. And here's the vocals.
A club isn't the best place to find a lover, so the bar is where I go. Me and my friends sat at the table doing shots.
Awesome, and to download it, simply click these download buttons. What's really cool is you can also just input a YouTube link instead of uploading a file. So here's the YouTube of this song. So I'm going to click share, copy this link, and then paste it in here. And so you should get the same result. It would extract the vocals and the instrumentals from the song. Super easy tool, and it's completely free. It's online. You don't need to log in or anything. Check it out using our link in the description below. Alright, so that covers RVC, but if you don't want to run it locally on your computer and you don't want to download like 6 gigabytes of files to your computer and destroy your GPU or CPU, then here's an online way for you to do the same thing. It's a really easy to use interface and it works straight out of your internet browser, so you don't need to download anything yourself. The tool is called Kits AI, which I'll link to in the description below. So simply sign up for a free account. And once you're in, I'll just show you the pricing real quick for all the plans. I'm using the starter plan, which currently gives me 15 free conversion minutes per month. And if you want more, you need to pay for more, but 15 minutes per month is good enough for this video. So first, let's import our Gura voice and our SpongeBob voice into our account. We click on My Voices, and then Upload it to upload a voice. So let's call this Gura, and then we are going to drag and drop our Gura PTH into here. We don't need the index file, so we can leave this empty. And then we simply click Upload Model. Alright, now if you go back to My Voices and then upload it, you should see Gura over here. Let's also upload SpongeBob's voice. So we'll call this SpongeBob, and then drag and drop our SpongeBob model into here. Again, we don't need the index file, so we just click upload. Alright, let's do shape of you first. So if you go to My Voices and then Uploaded, and then in Gura, we'll click on Use Voice. And then let's drag and drop the original shape of you vocals into here, which would be this one. I'll play this for you again so you can hear what it sounds like.
A club isn't the best place to find a lover, so the bar is where I go. Me and my friends sat at the table doing shots, drinking fast, and then we talk slow.
And then under advanced settings for pitch shift, because we are converting Ed Sheeran into Gura, so it's male to female, we should shift this to like 8 to 12. So let's set this to 8. And then conversion strength, this is how much accent or articulation you want from Gura's original voice model. And then the model volume is how much dynamics you want from the original vocals, so Ed Sheeran's vocals. So if you drag this all the way to like 0, there's more dynamics from the original audio. There's more accent from Ed Sheeran's voice. If you drag this all the way to the right, then there's less dynamics from Ed Sheeran's voice. But let's just leave it at the default, which is in the middle somewhere. And then noise gate, this is like if your original vocals has a lot of background noise, you can check this to remove some of that noise. And then high pass is if your original vocals has too much bass, it's too boomy, this gets rid of all those bass frequencies. And conversely, for low pass, this is if your vocals sound too trebly, there's too much high frequencies, this gets rid of those. And then compressor is if your audio has a lot of really soft places and a lot of really loud places, then a compressor basically balances those out. So it makes the softer parts louder and the louder parts a bit softer. But our vocals here are pretty well balanced, so we can leave those off as well. So these effects apply to Ed Sheeran's voice, right? This is before we turn it into Gura's voice. And then these effects apply after we turn it into Gura's voice. So compressor is the same thing. If you hear that the audio is too soft in some places and too loud in some places, you can check this to balance those dynamics out. And then chorus sounds like this. So you're adding more copies of yourself to make it sound like multiple people are singing at the same time. And then reverb is basically echo, so it sounds like this. And then delay sounds like this. But we don't really need any of these, so let's leave all of these off and then click convert. Alright, our Gura track is ready, so let's hear what it sounds like.
A club isn't the best place to find a lover, so the bar is where I go. Me and my friends sat at the table doing shots, drinking fast, and then we talk slow. And you come over and start up a conversation with just me, and trust me, I'll give it a chance. Now take my hand, stop, find the man on the jukebox, and then we start to dance. And I'm singing like, girl, you know I want your love.
Wow, this sounds really good. So to download it, simply click this. Let's do the same thing for Idol. So again, go to My Voices, and then Uploaded, and then we will use SpongeBob's voice. So let's drag our Idol vocals into here, which is this one. I'll play the first few seconds for you again so you can hear what it sounds like.
無敵の笑顔でラスメディア知りたいその秘密ミステリアス抜けてるとこさえ彼女のエリア
Alright, so let's convert this to SpongeBob. For advanced settings, the pitch shift, we can leave it as 0 like we did before. All of these, we can leave it at the default. And then for pre-processing, we can turn all of these off. We don't really need it. And then we'll click convert. Alright, let's hear what this sounds like.
無敵の笑顔でラスメディア知りたいその秘密ミステリアス抜けてるとこさえ彼女のエリア完璧で嘘つきな君は
Perfect, so we'll click this to download it. And then like before, we need to glue this back with the original instrumentals. So we'll drag the SpongeBob vocals with the original instrumentals into Audacity and then glue them back together. Alright, I already showed you two options on how you can create AI song covers. One is RVC and the second one is Kits AI. But if you're like, bro, there's too many steps, it's too complicated, I need to extract the vocals and instrumentals, and then download voice models, and then glue the instrumentals back together, it's just too many steps for me. If that's the case, then here's a super easy and lazy way for you to do it. And it's 100% free. So this tool is called AICoverGen, and it's created by this YouTuber called Socially Inept Weeb, so check out his YouTube channel for more cool videos. Now, I'll link to this GitHub page in the description below. Now, you can scroll all the way down and follow the instructions here to install it locally on your computer. However, if you're a non-tech guy like me, and you don't know what is Git in Python or how to clone Git repositories, then you don't actually have to install this to your computer. If you scroll a bit further up, you can open this in Google Colab. So click this first link here, and this will open up this Python notebook in Google Colab. You do need to log into your Google account first if you haven't already, and then here in this Connect GPU, make sure you click that so you can see that it's connecting, and make sure this says T4, which is a GPU and not a CPU. Now, all you gotta do is at the top here in runtime, click this and click run all. And then click run anyway, and you can see that each of these cells are now being run. Now, this is going to take a while to install all of the requirements and download all the models and then start the web interface. Also note that if you don't install this to your computer and you decide to run it in Google Colab, you need to run each of these steps every time. So it's going to take at least a few minutes before you can get this up and running. Alright, if all goes well, you should see this Gradio.live link. So click on that to open the web interface. Now this is really simple. You don't need to download anything. You don't need to extract any vocals or instrumentals yourself. So first of all, we need to give it the voice model to use. And that's by going to this download model tab. And then we simply paste in the link to the zip file in here. So going back to voicemodels.com, let's add in Gura and SpongeBob. So let's search Gura again. And then I'm going to use this one. So we just need to copy this URL and then paste it in here. And then we will name this Gura and then click download. Perfect. If you go back to generate, and then in this dropdown, you don't see it yet, so you need to click on refresh models. Now you should see Gura. And then for the song input, all you need to do is paste in the YouTube link to the music. Really simple. Or you can upload a file, but we're just gonna search on YouTube for Shape of You, the acoustic version, and then we'll click on this. And then we will copy the link and paste it back in here. Now again, with Gura, because it's male to female, we need to change the pitch of both the vocals and the instrumentals to around 8. And then there's a few additional options down here which you can expand. So these settings are pretty similar to what you see in RVC and Kits AI. I would first leave it at the default, and then if the voice doesn't sound right, then try tweaking each of these to see if it improves your results. And then for the algorithm, it's always best to use RMVPE or RMVPE Plus, which are the highest quality. And then for audio mixing options, this is like how much you want to change your main vocals versus the harmony vocals versus the instrumental. So in your output, if Gura's voice sounds too soft, you can increase this or decrease the music. But for now, let's just leave it at the default of 0. And then for reverb, this is basically the echo of your vocals. So increasing the room size increases the reverb time. And then wetness is how much reverb you want to overlay on your voice. And then dryness is how much of the original voice you want to keep. Damping level is how much of the high frequencies in the reverb you want to remove. But generally it's safe to just keep all of these at the default and then click generate. You can see it's automatically separating the vocals from the instrumental, so you don't need to do this step. Alright, now it's adding de-reverb to the Ed Sheeran vocals, so it's removing any echoes that are present in the vocals to make the voice clearer for conversion. Now it's converting Ed Sheeran's voice into Gura's voice. Alright, now it's doing the pitch change of 8 semitones up, and then it's gluing the vocals back with the instrumentals. Wow, how cool is that? It just did all the steps for us. So let's click play and hear what it sounds like.
A club isn't the best place to find a love, but so the bar is where I go. Me and my friends sat at the table doing shots, drinking fast, and then we talk slow. And you come over and start up a conversation with just me, and trust me, I'll give it a chance. Down to
Wow, this is really good. So to download it, simply click on this download button. Alright, let's do the same thing with Idle and SpongeBob. So going back to voice models, let's search SpongeBob. And then we are going to right click on this Hugging Face link, copy link address, and then going back to download model, paste in the SpongeBob zip link here, and then let's call it SpongeBob, and then click download. Alright, SpongeBob has been successfully downloaded, so we go back to generate, and then we click on refresh models, and then in the dropdown we select SpongeBob. Now for the song input, we paste in the video link to Idle. Now, as we've done before, we don't really need to change the pitch for SpongeBob in this case, so let's just keep it at 0 and keep everything else at the default, and then click generate. Alright, let's hear what this sounds like.
無敵の笑顔だラスメディア知りたいその秘密ミステリアス抜けてるとこさえ彼女のエリア完璧で嘘つきな君は天才的なアイドル様今日何食べた好きな本は遊びに行くならどこに行くの
Wow, that is really good as well. I'm really impressed by how far AI has improved in only the past few months. This is crazy. Anyways, to download it, simply click on this download. And that's all you need to know to make AI song covers. If you have any questions or if you run into any errors, just let me know in the comments below and I'll try to answer you as soon as possible. If you found this video helpful, remember to like, share, subscribe, and stay tuned for more content. Also, we built a site where you can search for all the AI tools out there. Check it out at ai-search.io.